My name's Liz, and I'm an alcoholic. Please join me in the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. All right. I'd like to remind everyone that this meeting is being live streamed. We do this meeting every Tuesday night, and on our website you can access previous speakers, as well as if you can't make it to the meeting, you can stream in. Welcome to the Tuesday night alumni speaker meeting. Who is it their first time that's been to our meeting? Awesome. Welcome. We got a lot of new ones. Welcome. All right. Let's go around the room and introduce ourselves, starting on my right.
My name is Nancy, and I'm an addict.
Nancy.
Paul, alcoholic.
Paul.
Selena, alcoholic.
Selena.
Alfie, alcoholic.
Alfie.
Dalton addict.
Dalton.
Javier, alcoholic.
Javier.
Lester, alcoholic.
Lester.
Glenn, addict.
Glenn.
Scott, addict.
Scott.
Oh, Anthony, alcoholic.
Anthony.
Raul.
Raul. Saul.
Oscar, recovering alcoholic.
Oscar.
Brandon, recovering alcoholic.
Brandon.
Albert, alcoholic.
Albert.
Eddie, addict.
Eddie.
Scott, an addict.
Scott.
Jenny, alcoholic.
Denny. Eric.
Jamal, addict.
Jamar. William.
Joshua, addict.
Joshua.
Elijah, alcoholic.
Elijah.
Gilbert, addict.
Gilbert.
Jesse, recovering alcoholic.
Jesse.
Chris, alcoholic.
Chris.
Sean, alcoholic. Addict.
Sean.
Joe, alcoholic.
Joe.
Roxy,
Roxy.
addict.
Maria. Jonte. Jonathan. Michael.
Lardell, addict.
What was it?
Lardell.
Lardale. Okay, we'll get it at some point. Progress. Adrian. Harry. Robert. Randy.
Felipe, addict.
Felipe.
Wombar, addict.
Armando.
Enrique, addict.
Enrique.
Joe, addict.
Joe.
Jeremy, alcoholic.
Jeremy.
Will, addict.
Will.
David, addict.
David.
Antonio, addict.
Antonio.
Nathaniel, alcoholic, addict.
Nathaniel. Danny.
George, alcoholic, addict.
George.
Luis, addict.
Luis.
Rudy, addict.
Rudy. And I'm Liz. I'm still an alcoholic. Let's give ourselves a round of applause. All right. Tonight we're doing AA, so let me do the AA preamble. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of people who share their experience, strength, and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There's no dues or fees for AA membership. We're self-supporting through our own contributions. AA is not allied with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution. Does not wish to engage in any controversy, neither endorses or opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. We kindly ask for your cooperation in making this a good experience for all who wish to hear the message. Please respect the speakers and the meeting by not talking during the readings or while people are sharing. During the break, feel free to help yourself to coffee, water, and snacks. I've asked Dalton to come on up and read a portion of chapter 3.
Hi, I'm Dalton. I'm an addict. Dalton. Chapter 3, more about alcoholism. Most of us have been unwilling to admit we are real alcoholics. No person likes to think he is bodily and mentally different from his fellows. Therefore, it is not surprising that our drinking careers have been characterized by countless vain attempts to prove we could drink like other people. This idea that somehow, someday, he will control and enjoy his drinking is the great obsession of every abnormal drinker. The persistence of this illusion is astonishing. Many pursue it into the gates of insanity or death. We learned that we had to fully concede to our innermost selves that we were alcoholics. This is the first step in recovery. The delusion that we are like other people or presently may be has to be smashed. We alcoholics are men and women who have lost the ability to control our drinking. We know that no real alcoholic ever recovers control. All of us felt at times that we were regaining control, but such intervals, usually brief, were inevitably followed by still less control, which led in time to pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization. We are convinced to a man that alcoholics of our types are in the grip of a progressive illness. Over any considerable period, we get worse, never better. We are like men who have lost their legs. They never grow new ones. Neither does there appear to be any kind of treatment which will make alcoholics of our kind like other men. You have tried every imaginable remedy. In some instances, there have been brief recovery, followed always by a still worse relapse. Physicians who are familiar with alcoholism agree there is no such thing as making a normal drinker out of an alcoholic. Science may one day accomplish this, but it hasn't done so yet. Despite all we can say, many who are real alcoholics are not going to believe they are in that class. By every form of self-deception and experimentation, they will try to prove themselves exceptions to the rule, therefore non-alcoholic. If anyone who has shown inability to control his drinking can do the right about face and drink like a gentleman, our hats are off to him. Heaven knows we have tried hard enough and long enough to drink like other people. Here are some of the methods we have tried. Drinking beer only, limiting the number of drinks, never drinking alone, never drinking in the morning, drinking only at home, never having it in the house, never drinking during business hours, drinking only at parties, switching from scotch to brandy, drinking only natural wines, agreeing to resign if ever drunk on the job, taking a trip, not taking a trip, swearing off forever with and without a solemn oath, taking more physical exercise, reading inspirational books, going to health farms and sanitariums, accepting voluntary commitment to asylums. We could increase the list ad infinitum.
Thanks, Dalton. All right, Alfie, come on up and read a portion of chapter 5.
My name's Alfie. I'm an addict, alcoholic, trash can. I can't read that fast, but I'm going to read. Okay, chapter 5, how it works. Rarely have we seen a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover are people who cannot or will not completely give themselves to the simple program. Usually men and women who are constitutionally incapable of being honest with themselves. They are such unfortunates. They are not at fault. They seem to have been born that way. They are naturally incapable of grasping and developing a manner of living which demands rigorous honesty. Their chances are less than average. There are those, too, who suffer from grave emotional and mental disorders, but many of them do recover if they have the capacity to be honest. Our stories disclose in a general way what we used to be like, what happened, and what we are like now. If you have decided you want what we have and are willing to go to any length to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. At some of these we balked. Good Lord. I'm lost my spot. Damn it. Sorry. Okay. Thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we could not. With all the earnestness as our command, we beg of you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us have tried to hold on to our old ideas, and the results were nil until we let go absolutely. Remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, powerful. Without help, it is too much for us. But there is one who has all power, and that one is God. May you find him now. Half measures availed us nothing. We stood at the turning point. We asked his protection and care with complete abandon. Here are the steps we took, which are suggested as a program of recovery. Number 1, we admitted we were powerless over our alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Number 2, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Number 3, we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. Number 4, made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Number 5, admitted to God, to ourselves, to another human being, the exact nature of our wrongs. Number 6, we're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. Number 7, humbly asked Him to remove our shortcomings. Number 8, made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Number 9, made direct amends to such people whenever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. Number 10, continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Number 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. Number 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our prayers. Many of us exclaimed, "What an order, I can't go through with it." Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been able to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. We are not saints. The point is that we are willing to grow along spiritual lines. The principles we have set down are guides to progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Our description of the alcoholic, the chapter to the agnostic, and our personal adventure before and after makes clear 3 pertinent ideas. 1, that we were alcoholic and could not manage our own lives. 2, that probably no human power could have relieved our alcoholism. And 3, that God could and would if He were sought.
Thanks, Alfie.
Thank you.
Okay, so while we observe the 7th tradition, which states that every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting and declining all outside contributions, we'd ask David to come on up and read the 12 traditions of AA. Come on up.
My name is David. I'm an alcoholic. The 12 traditions of Alcoholics Anonymous. 1. Our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends upon AA unity. 2. For our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God, as He may express Himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants. They do not govern. Number 3. The only requirement for AA membership is a desire to stop drinking. Number 4. Each group should be autonomous except in matters affecting other groups or AA as a whole. 5. Each group has but one primary purpose, to carry its message to the alcoholic who still suffers. 6. An AA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend the AA name to any related facility or outside enterprise, lest problems of money, property, and prestige divert us from our primary purpose. 7. Every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. 8. Alcoholics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers. 9. AA as such ought never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve. 10. Alcoholics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues. Hence, the AA name ought never be drawn into public controversy. 11. Our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films. 12. Anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities. Thank you.
All right, thanks, David. Our format for this meeting is we have a 10-minute speaker, then we'll take a 10-minute break, then followed by our main speaker, and then we'll celebrate some milestones and hopefully have an opportunity for sharing. Tonight we have Scott, who is our 10-minute speaker. Come on up, Scott. And Scott, Sean will give you a 2-minute warning.
All right, thank you, Sean. Oh, that's how I really look. That's crazy. Okay. Yeah, oh yeah, all of a sudden. All right. Scott, I'm an addict, alcoholic. Okay. Let's see how do I start this. I was born in the 80s. I was born in Henderson, Nevada. I was born to two parents. My dad was a full-blown addict, and my mom was an alcoholic. She was a functioning alcoholic. We moved over to California to the Norwalk when I was about 3 years old. We left my dad. The last time I saw my dad, we just got to California, and the last memory I got is him beating my mom up outside front, and me not knowing. And I thought I was the reason. I carried that shit for a lot of years. And she went out. After he was out of my life, my mom was dating, and she was dating this guy, and he didn't know how to take care of a kid. I was sick. He gave me a bunch of pills. I overdosed when I was like 5, 6. My mom was chasing me in the ambulance. Don't even recollect it. I was one of those adolescents, you know. I couldn't function. I couldn't stay still in class. My best idea with my best friends were fighting on the playground because we had nothing else to do. And I was one of those kids on Ritalin. They had me like 3 hits a day until my mom seen I made me a zombie. Took me off of it right away. I was touched when I was 9. I had my first drink when I was 13. Pot about 15. Started messing around with meth about 19. But I was able to like function in school. I was able to graduate. I graduated before my class. I was an honors RSP student, medical academy, football. But my life wasn't going nowhere. I kept running into situations that I couldn't handle because I didn't know what it was like to be a man. I learned how to shave from my sister and my mom shaving their legs. And had to learn somehow, you know. I couldn't wipe toilet paper on my face, you know. I couldn't grow it like that way, okay? But anyways, I hit the joint. I can't even remember. I got an old F number. I hit it like early 2000s, 05, I think. But I was in and out. First program they offered. Oh, let me rewind a little bit. My uncle's an alcoholic. He used to take me to these meetings all the time. All the time. I didn't know what the heck he was doing. I was flirting with the other kids while they're in their meetings. But one time, it really stuck with me. One thing my uncle told me, he's like, hey, you're going to need this one of these days. Not knowing how true it would be. All right. Going in and out of the joints. First program I went to was Salvation Army in Anaheim. I had a girlfriend at the time, and like, it was co-ed, so I didn't stay much. I just left because I knew that was just going to be another headache. I left that one, went to Long Beach. I graduated right after graduating, I picked up and started running. I was drinking. Let's see. And then I caught another term. And I was actually really blessed and lucky to actually come through here in like 2010. I actually graduated. I stayed clean. And I went to sober living. And the first thing that I did was get in a relationship from another house when they told me not to at the vets building. She ended up being my kid's mom. She took my kid for like 7 years without me like being able to see him, and that was really rough. Like I couldn't find him. I tried. But back to when he was born, I actually that made me go out. That didn't make me go out, but that was just one of the stones that make me go. I ended up catching 4 years, caught a shoe term and all that. But when I got in there, I got enough from this place that I reached out. The H&I panels helped me. I worked all my steps while I was locked up. I got busy. I really got busy, and I got deep, and I got in touch with my feelings to where when I got out of doing 4 years, I was able to forgive my dad for not being there, for beating my mom, not showing me what it's like to be a man. All this stuff that just him not being present. And I was able to forgive him. he never called me back or anything. But anyways, I stayed clean for, I stayed sober for 7.5 years. I stayed clean for 8 years. But when COVID hit, I got hit with child support. That's where I found out where my kid was. He was in Vegas. Got hit with child support in October. My grandma passed away Christmas Eve. I had a whole bunch of coworkers dying. Me and my relationship with my new kid's mom was on the rocks because of what was going on with COVID and stuff like that. And she didn't see my point of view of going to work, which made no sense. But anyways, eventually I relapsed. And then I've been on a downward spiral since then. I've been on a downward spiral since then, and I really wasn't trying to like change. Like, even though I had my oldest in my life and stuff like that, and I was dealing with my junk and stuff, I still didn't want to change. My higher power, I asked my higher power several times. Even though in my addiction, I knew he was there. I knew he was following me, and he's never gave up on me, even though I gave up on myself. And then I picked up all these old feelings, like my dad abandoning me, my kids not being there. I ended up being my dad. Just like, I didn't feel right in my skin. Like, I had a disease. I was just diseased in myself. And for a lot of years, I couldn't look at myself clearly in the mirror, and that's really sucks to actually see myself right now. But like, in a good way. I caught a term this time. Let me back up. Last year, my mom got diagnosed with cancer, stage 4 lung cancer. She went straight on oxygen. My best thinking was to get loaded, and basically be homeless, because I didn't want to put that strain on my mom getting loaded in her house. And eventually, me being out there on the streets and doing what I had to do, I ended up getting shot, to where my arm got fractured. It came in, went out. Bullets actually still in my chest, inch away from my heart. Like, I'm really, really lucky and blessed to actually stand here. And that's actually the first time I'm openly honest about like me being alive. Because when they told me like, hey, you could have died, I went, hold on, really? Like, you couldn't take me? Come on, this was a freebie. I didn't have to do it. But you know what? I'm really lucky. I'm really fucking lucky to be here. Excuse my French. But I caught a term last year, and they kept offering me 16. I ended up doing 4 months, and they kept offering me 16. And then they go, look, you could either do the 16th or you could do this mental diversion. I said, all right, shoot the diversion. So they send me up to a program, Dare to Cry Help. I get there. Everybody's stuck on their phones. There's people loaded. There's actually like Brillo scraps in the food. Like, they took pictures and showed me, like, my first day. I went, yeah, this place ain't for me. I went right back to the judge, and I told him, I told him, hey, there's drugs in the house. There's this and this. I'm good. Hey, I've been to this program, Fred Brown. Can you please put me in there, please? I called, and they, like, Sunshine was able to get me in. And during the 90 days, it went by so fast. I was able to work on myself, to like see stuff, like to notice that I'm actually a good person. I was able to help people deal with their own shit. I'm actually here to be a service. And Roxy, dude, thank you from the bottom of my heart for fucking being here. Thank you so much. Like, you actually taught me how to be a man. Yeah, like, I know you this program has done so much for me, and like my mom, like, she when I get busted, she's like, okay, I know where you're at. I'm cool. I'm fine. When really she's not. But when she saw me here, she's like, I could hear it in her voice, like, thank you. He's in the right spot, because she knows what this place does. This place does work, believe it or not. This place, reading letters and crying, it works. I don't know how it works, but it works. It works way better than Salvation Army. Slave Nation Army. But like during the 90 days, my mom had brain surgery. Like it spread from her lungs to her brain. And they cut her from the top of her temple all the way down to her spine, and they took out a chunk. And she's good. And that's all because of you guys for praying, and thank you for letting me go see my mom in the hospital. Like, that was really cool. And like, I didn't know that was actually possible until I asked. Like they say, closed mouths don't get fed, and it was really cool to actually be there for my mom in the hospital and just be like, hey, I'm here. And then she's like, you're still there? I'm like, yeah, they're right here. They're right here. Like, I can't get them off of me. They're right here. But I'm here. And they drove me all the way to Whittier.
That's right.
And it was so cool. And when my mom actually came in, like before her surgery, she came and visited me on my birthday. The next day I actually saw my son, and I haven't seen that dude since 22. And it was really cool. He's like right up to here. I just want to choke him. He's been trolling me when I was in county and all that, telling me I'm old. I'm like, I'll show you old. I'll crack you in the pool. And that's the gifts of this place, believe it or not. And like, I know what this place does, and it's so awesome. It's so awesome, and I'm really excited to go to the next step. I'm really excited, and I can't wait to get back to work and just do things right. Because when I was here last time, I was able to be a house manager. I had everything in order. I was able to be a house manager, go back to ironworking. I never knew what this place took me to where I could actually stand here and say, yeah, I was on top of SoFi. I've helped build the Galaxy Edge, second in PCH, a bunch of retrofits in downtown, and that's all because of the gift of this program. So if I could give you any advice, it's just stay, settle, sit on your hands, whatever. From yells to jails to Park Avenue to park benches, this place helps. Especially this place right here. Okay, so just give yourself a break.
That's right.
And you still suck.
Let's give Scott another round of applause. Scott, we appreciate you sharing your story with us, and I think it's awesome that you've been back and you know where to come, and just stay. It's just that easy, right? So appreciate that. So thank you. All right, let's take a 10-minute break.
now. Yeah. Okay, so go ahead. You next year. I'm going to OKC on that. My money on OKC. For everything. They had the good record. We're only getting the rings.
Rockets were looking good until they got
Rockets looking real good.
So back there, every day,
They'll probably make me like at the end of this month, because I'm around to graduate too.
I think they got the same thing.
Oh, we're already graduated?
This week.
This week?
Graduated this week.
You know what happened?
Not yet.
July 7th? That's what my kids are.
July 7th? Probably like in the first week of June or May.
Might go to my senior. I don't know. You got, what did you say you're gonna do? When does this start working? Or you're Yeah, bro, I was out for like, and I didn't do the rehab. Like,
Did they put that thing on you? Like a little round?
Yeah. Yeah, bro, like they cut my pants in the seat, and they're like, they give me a piece of wood. They're like, my damn, this is gonna hurt. And fucking, they popped that shit in place, and I'm not gonna lie, I cried. I was like, like after the surgery, like fucking, it looked
bring up motion. I was like, now you did it.
Hey, Paul, are you going to do? All right, let's start the second half of the meeting with the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to come on difference. All right, I'd like to introduce our main speaker. Paul, come on up and share your experience.
What happened? Yeah, I'm a short guy. Paul, alcoholic. I got a sobriety date of April 2nd, 2019. I got a sponsor named Troy G. Hermosa Beach Men Stag is my home group. And by the grace of a loving God in this program of action, honesty, and willingness, I have the honor and the privilege to be called sponsor. And I don't say that to brag or sound like I'm somebody special, but early on in my sobriety, I got taught that to keep your date, you have to get a sponsor and you have to work the steps. Find a home group. You know, I have a men's stag in Hermosa Beach, and those men hold me accountable. When I don't show up to a meeting, I get 7 or 8 text messages, where you at? And when I walk into my home group, and I got that look on my face that these men know that look on my face, they'll walk up to me and they'll go, how you doing? And I'll be like, oh, I'm all right. And they'll be like, no, come here. How are you really doing? You know, and they hold me accountable, and I get transparent with these men, you know what I mean? And you got to help another alcoholic. You work those steps and you help another alcoholic. But I got a lot of opinions, a lot of ideas, and I'm going to read something out of the book. So the chapter called A Chance to Live, page 316. I'm convinced that if I had continued on my course, I wouldn't have survived much longer. I don't believe I was smarter than anyone else, as I was often told from those who came in at a later age. It was my time, my chance to live, and I took it. If there had still been joy in my drinking, or even the remote chance of joy returning, I would not have stopped drinking when I did. No one who drank as I did wakes up at the edge of the abyss one morning and says, things look pretty scary. I think I better stop drinking before I fall in. I was convinced I could go as far as I wanted, then climb back out when it wasn't fun anymore. What happened was, I found myself at the bottom of the canyon thinking I'd never see the sun again. AA didn't pull me out of the hole. It did give me the tools to construct a ladder with 12 steps. Sobriety is nothing like I thought it would be. At first, it was one big emotional roller coaster, full of sharp highs, deep lows. My emotions were new, untested, and I wasn't entirely certain I wanted to deal with them. I cried when I should have been laughing. I laughed when I should have cried. Events I thought were the end of the world turned out to be gifts. It was all very confusing. Slowly, things began to even out as I began to take the steps of recovery. My role in the pitiful condition of my life became clear. If that's what the two most important things in recovery are, I would have to say willingness and action. I was willing to believe AA was telling me the truth. I wanted to believe it was true in a way I cannot relate in words. I wanted this thing to work. Then I began to take the course of action prescribed. Following the principles laid out in the big book have not always been comfortable, nor will I claim perfection. I have yet to find a place in the big book that says, now you completed the steps, have a nice life. The program is a plan for a lifetime of daily living. There have been occasions when the temptation to slack off is one, and I view each of these as learning opportunities. When I am willing to do the right thing, I am rewarded with an inner peace no amount of liquor could ever provide. When I am unwilling to do the right thing, I become restless, irritable, and discontent. It is always my choice. Through the 12 steps, I've been granted the gift of choice. I am no longer at the mercy of a disease that tells me the only answer is to drink. If willingness is the key that unlocks the gates of hell, it is action that opens those doors so we may walk freely among the living. And those paragraphs right there are a clear and succinct summary of a lot of my experience in Alcoholics Anonymous. I want to start off by saying that, you know what, today my life's absolutely flawless. It may not be as I deem it to be, it may not be as I see fit, but it's splendid, man. You know, and that's a direct byproduct of good sponsorship in Alcoholics Anonymous, good mentorship through the big book Alcoholics Anonymous, and these principles implemented in my life. I get this amazing opportunity when I get to come participate in my recovery. Nancy, thank you again for asking me to share. And I'm not a perfect example of anything, man. I've made a ton of mistakes, drunk and sober, but I wouldn't want to think of where my life would be without Alcoholics Anonymous. With that being said, I come from a loving family, middle class longshoreman family. I was born and raised right here in San Pedro. I was raised by my grandparents, but at an early age I was with my mother, and my mother was one of us. And I saw things I shouldn't have seen at a very young age. I was privy to things I shouldn't have been. And one of the things I picked up at a very early age is when you feel bad, you take something or you drink something. And you know what? And the things I saw when I was a kid and all that, and, you know what I mean? None of that makes me an alcoholic. You know what I mean? None of that makes me an alcoholic. You know, it might have been a little problematic, but it doesn't make me an alcoholic. But, you know, fast forward a little bit, a couple years later, my mom goes to prison, and I go to live with my grandparents. And my brother and my sister were already living with my grandparents. And when I got there, I felt like I didn't fit, man, you know? They knew how to act, they knew how to be, and I just didn't, I just felt like I didn't fit. And then in the summertime, I would go to Vegas to my dad's family with my brothers and sisters, and the same thing. They knew how to act, they knew how to be. You know, a day late and a dollar short comes to mind. You know, square peg in a round hole. You know what I mean? I was always caught up in my head thinking about if you're thinking about me, what you're thinking about me, if you're not thinking about me, why you're not thinking about me. You know? Restless, irritable, and discontent from a very early age, you know? And then my mom got out of prison, and shortly after she OD'd on heroin and died. And I think that's when my spiritual malady came about, because I started questioning God. And, you know, I learned at a very young age that I could use these to make you feel how I feel inside, and I did a lot of that, and it got in a lot of trouble. And, you know, when I was 13 years old, I remember my brother and my cousins telling me we're gonna go to Alma Park. It was on Thanksgiving Day, dude. I can remember it like it was yesterday. We go to the park and they hand me a 40 ounce of Miller Genuine Draft, man. And halfway through that Miller Genuine Draft, something happened. You know, that restless irritability, that discontentment, it all just melted away. You know, the anxiety, all that stuff just melted away, you know. I had a spiritual experience. I really did. I had a spiritual experience predicated on drinking alcohol. You know, because it's crazy because we don't know how messed up we are, how we're living our life when we're like that, because we're just managing. And then all of a sudden you get this liquid lubricant and your skin fits right. You know, and everybody liked that Paul that came out that night. I liked that Paul that came out that night. You know, and nobody had to go downtown and pick up dope. Nobody got stabbed. Nobody got shot. Nobody OD'd and died. Nobody went to prison. It was all going to happen, but it didn't happen that night, so I chased that feeling. And you know what? There's drugs, and there's a lot of drugs in my story too, because my disease brought me to sticking a needle in my arm. You know? When alcohol stopped working like it once did, I went to something, I need quick, fast, and in a hurry. I want to feel good right now. I want instant relief. And Our book talks about a sense of ease and comfort you get by taking the first drink. And I learned in my sobriety early on that it's just a sense of ease and comfort. It's not real ease and comfort. Because I don't know about you guys, I've been in bad places doing bad things, feeling bad with bad people. My life's on absolute fire. I'm out on bail on my second gun charge. Me and the girl of 9 years are done. I ain't spoken to my sons in 2 months, and my life's on absolute fire. And I get the bag, I get the bottle, and I get a sense of ease and comfort. And you know how I know this disease centers in my mind? Is I don't even have to put the chemical in my body, and I get a sense of ease and comfort. The liquor store could be opening up in 5 minutes, and I get a sense of ease and comfort. I could call my dude on the phone, and he says, I got what you want, come pick it up. And I get a sense of ease and comfort. But it's fake, it's fraudulent, it's temporary, because as soon as the bag is gone, as soon as the bottle's gone, I'm sober, I'm back in reality, and my life's on fire again. But then I've come here, and you guys giving me a process to find real ease and comfort, and that's what I found here, man. You know, and I hear people in the rooms, and you know what, that's their story, and it's cool. I hear people saying, I lost the house, the car, the job, my family to drugs and alcohol. And this is just semantics, but I don't believe I lost anything to drugs and alcohol. I gave things away and I pushed things away that got in the way of me drinking and using how I wanted to drink and use. You know, my self-respect, my dignity, give that away so I could perpetuate a lifestyle that had me having the things that I needed to have to feel the way I needed to feel at all times. You know, living in direct contrast to my conscience. And me living in direct contrast to my conscience, with me in the center of it, anything with the 10-foot radius gets hurt. My kids, my family, myself, the state of California. You know, the relationship of 9 years, push that away. She didn't want me living this lifestyle anymore. She didn't want me driving around all night selling drugs with a gun on my lap. You know? And she's getting in the way of me drinking and using. She's got to go. You know? Doesn't matter how much I say I love you and this and that. If you're getting in the way of how I need to feel, that's what drives me. I need to feel good. I'm real sensitive when it comes to my feelings. Yours, not so much. You know what I mean? Self-centered. The relationship with my sons, man. Push that, you know, push that away because it took just a little bit too much time for me to drive down to San Diego and actually be a father to my sons. You know, I thought paying child support and buying them shoes and buying them school clothes was being a father. You know, and even when I would go down there and be with them, I wasn't present. You know, my freedom, give that away. I remember being out on bail at Torrance Court. I'm in the parking lot doing a shot of heroin before I go in. I've been up all night tweaking. I go into court about 9:15. The bailiff tells me to take my hat off, take the cigarette out my ear, and take my shades off. And I think I'm fooling these people. You know what I mean? I've been up all night, probably look like I got slapped with the greasy pork chop. And the judge calls my case, and I go up there, and he's like, Mr. Chavez, what am I going to do with you? You haven't made it to court once on time. What am I going to do with you? And I'm going to tell him anything, you know what I mean? I'm going to tell him anything just to get the heat off my back. But you know what? Our book talks about the problem drinker and the real alcoholic. See, a problem drinker, 8 years in prison would be a sufficient reason for him to stop. But I'm a real alcoholic, man. I know I'm not going to stop. So I continue on my course and I do the things I continue to do. And you know what? And my best idea is I'm going to sell dope because I don't want to pay what you guys are paying. So I need to sell dope. You know what I mean? And I was doing that for years, and I continued on my course doing what I'm doing. And I remember I'm driving to Crystal Park Casino to go drop off some money to my Connect. And he tells me I got to go pick up right now. And I go, all right, I'm going to go get something to eat down the street. And I'm off the 91 at the Carl's Jr. right there. And I get a burger. And I'm sitting in my truck. And for the first time in my life, man, something told me, man, just go home. What are you doing? Stop doing what you're doing. And I'm sitting in my truck with the needle in my hand, and I'm crying because I don't want to do it. But I'm also crying because I know I'm going to do it, man. That jumping off point that this book talks about, man, where I can't live with it and I can't live without it. See, I got a body that can't live with drugs and alcohol, but I got a mind that tells me I can't live without it. And I'm cussing at God, banging on my steering wheel. You know what? Either kill me or stop me. And God showed up in the form of a Compton sheriff. And I picked up another possession for sales. And now they revoked my bail. Now I got to fight my case. And I'm kicking a 2.5 gram a day habit, man. And I finally go to see my public defender in Torrance Court. And I'm kicking. And I probably didn't sleep for like 3 weeks. And I go to see her, and I'm broken emotionally, physically, spiritually. And this lady walks in on the other side of the glass from me. And when she walked in, it was the craziest thing. I look up, and she looked at me, and she had these endearing eyes. Something about the way she looked at me. She goes, "Are you all right?" I went, "No, I'm not." So she sits down across from me, and she's like, "Mr. Chavez, they found a gun on you. They found 6 grams of heroin, 3 syringes full of heroin, 7 grams of methamphetamine with a meth pipe full of meth." She goes, "What do you want out of this?" And I looked at her, I go, "I'm guilty of all that, ma'am." I go, "You know what? I had a gun because I'm a drug dealer. I sell drugs because I'm a drug addict. And I'm afraid if I don't get help and I get out of here, I'm gonna use again, and I don't want to." And this lady looked at me and pulled her glasses off with tears in her eyes, and she goes, "You know what? Do you trust me?" And I go, "For some reason I do." And she said, "We're gonna have to fight this case, but if I get the right DA, I'm gonna get you what you want, because I'm all about rehabilitation." And I think that was my first lesson in communication, because I don't know how to tell you how I feel. You know, I come from a place where you put on a tough face and everything's all right. You know what I mean? I ain't gonna let you know I'm dying inside, and I'm dying inside. But I was broken enough to open up to this lady, and she helped me. This lady fought for me. I've had plenty of public defenders that didn't give a shit about me. I was just another number. You know what I mean? But this lady fought for me. And it's funny how when you get busted, warrants start popping up. So I got a case in Torrance, I got a case in Long Beach, and I got a case in Compton. And if you ever been up in Wayside fighting a case, they wake you up at 3 in the morning, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches all day, sitting in cells, come back about 11 o'clock at night, they hand you 2 burritos and you go back in. So I'm up in Supermax fighting these cases, and my little sister's going to every single one of my court cases. She riled up my whole family, dude. I had like 10, 15 people at every single one of my court cases. They're going to Compton, they're going to Long Beach, they're going to Torrance. And my little sister, I call her before I'm gonna go to court. And I go, "You know what, Lou, I'm just gonna take my time and get to where I need to get." I go, "I'm sick of this. I'm just gonna take my time and go where I need to go." And my sister starts crying on the phone. She goes, "Paul, man, my daughters absolutely love their Uncle Paul. I just want you to be in their lives. This lady's fighting for you to get into a rehabilitation center, man. Just wait." And I go, "Well, we'll see, Lou." So we go to court, and it's crazy because you're gonna hear about how God pops up in my story the whole time. And at the time, I don't know it's God popping up in my, because I live my life forward and learn it backwards, you know what I mean? But I walk into court, and I'm in municipal court. I still gotta go upstairs. I still gotta go, you know what I mean? Upstairs, it's a felony, it's a gun charge. So the judge asked my public defender, and I got my family there, my little sister there. And she goes, "What are you asking for, Chavez?" She goes, "Probation in the program." And the judge straight laughed at her. He ain't getting probation in the program. He's got, I don't know how many counts of possession of a controlled substance for sale. It's his second gun charge. He's got an assault with the deadly back in here. He's got, you know what I mean? Just reads off my rap sheet. And I look back at my little sister, and I see the hope just pour out of her. And she starts crying. And we don't see how we hurt the people around us until we see how we hurt the people around us. And my little sister's sitting there crying over the choices I made in my life. And I felt about that big, man. And I'm sitting there, man, and I'm trying to look at her to tell her, "You know what, Lou, this judge ain't," and the bailiff gets in front of me, "Turn around." And I remember hearing my grandparents' voice. My little sister, she's the princess, the only girl on that side of the family. You don't let a hair get harmed on that little girl's head. And she's sitting there crying for the choices I made. And I go back into the holding tank. And I had been in the program before, and the only prayer I remembered was the third step prayer. And I got on my knees and I said it. And I didn't have a white light moment. I didn't have a burning bush. But I went back to my dorm that night and I slept like a baby. So I'd get up in the morning and I would do the same thing. God, your will, not mine. Simple prayer. You know what I mean? And about 2 months later, I'm walking in the court on a one man, and my public defender's at the end of the hall, and she's smiling. And I go, what's going on? She goes, you're going to go to the Salvation Army. Yeah, the Salvation Army works, bro. I wish I would have had hookups here, because I would have came here. You know what I mean? I don't know how safe it would have been for me and Pedro, though. No, so I walk in, and she goes, yeah, you're going to the Salvation Army. So when I got to the Salvation Army, I got a sponsor as soon as I got there. And I remember sitting in there. I had a lot of misconceptions about what was going on when I got there. I had a lot of things that it's crazy, because I remember sitting there with my sponsor, and I'm telling him my problems. He was like, well, tell me what's going on with you. And I'm like, well, I need to get my job back down on the docks. I need to get my girl back. I need to register my truck. I need to get my kids back in my lives. And he looked at me and he goes, Paul, why are you telling me this? I go, I'm telling you my problems. He goes, those aren't problems. I go, they sure the hell feel like problems. And he's like, nah, man, those are consequences. See, what you've been trying to do is fix your consequences your whole life, and you ain't looked at the real problem. And the real problem was me. I don't have a drinking problem. I got a spiritual unrest problem. I got an issue with reality problem. I use drugs and alcohol as a coping mechanism to solve that problem. And I don't know about you guys, it wasn't working for me anymore, man. It wasn't working like it once did, man. And my mind would go back to the party, backyard parties, having a good time. The ghost of parties past. That's where my mind goes to. But I got to remind myself of the times where the mother of my kids is going to leave with my sons, and she tells me, you have a problem. Baby, stop. I'll do anything. Okay? Go to rehab right now. And I look at her, and I look at my kids, and I know she's going to leave. And I tell her no. And she leaves and she don't come back. I got to remind myself where my disease takes me on a daily basis. I have to have a first step experience on a daily basis. And so my sponsor would, it was crazy, because I didn't know. I was looking for a solution to a spiritual sickness I didn't know I had. And I didn't know when I put drugs and alcohol in my body, I was trying to overcome an obsession I had no control over. You know, when my sponsor would tell me things like, Paul, you think you're your thoughts, don't you? I'm like, well, yeah, they come from me. And he's like, no, you're just the asshole that listens to him, bro. You know what I mean? And I needed someone like that to tell me, you know what I mean, to clown me kind of, because I thought I knew some things. I didn't know shit. I still don't. I'm learning on a daily basis. I stay teachable. You know what I mean? And I remember we were sitting across doing step work. I was there for like 30 days, and I remember my sponsor telling me, Paul, you know this isn't about you no more, right? I'm like, what are you talking about? Dude, I'm on my second step. He's like, check it out. How did you feel when you first got here? I go, I was uncomfortable, bro. He goes, how do you feel now? I go, I feel good. He goes, perfect. You're the perfect guy for the job. And I was like, well, what's up? And he was like, all right. When the new guy walks in, I need you to walk up and greet him and shake his hand. I need you to introduce yourself, and I need you to tell him how you felt when you first got here, and tell him how you feel now. And the guy sitting over in the corner that looks like he's by himself, go sit with him and convince him he's not. And I started to do that. And I started to get out of this. That's what this is all about. Helping somebody else out, even when we don't want to. Divinely inconvenienced, my sponsor calls it. You know, and it's crazy, because it saved my life in sobriety, man. Helping another alcoholic. You know what I mean? Doing things that I don't want to do. But you know what? AA's giving me a God that doesn't really care about what I think and how I feel. But he does care a hell of a lot about what I do. This is a program of action, guys. You know what I mean? I didn't go to the bar and watch people drink to get drunk, man. You know, if you're here, you got to do the work. You know what I mean? That's what this is about, dude. And it's crazy, because some of the blessings that we get here come through pain. They don't feel like gifts in the moment, man. You know, I remember my Nina was in the hospital, and I go to visit her, and she tells me, Mijo, I'm not going to leave her. And my godmother, you know, was my grandmother's sister. That was like my second mom. And I'm sitting there with her, and she goes, yeah. She goes, they found some polyps. I'm not going to have them do surgery. This is the last blood transfusion they're going to give me. She goes, I'm not going to leave here. My kids are taken care of. They're good. It's time for me to go be with my family. And I got to sit there, and I got to hold her hand, and we talked about the afterlife and what I thought it was and this and that. And I just told her, you know what, Nina, the only thing I know is I'm going to miss you, man. And I left that day, and I told her, I go, look, I'm going to come back until you passed every day. She was like, Hammer, you don't need to. They called me, my family called me Hammer growing up. And I get in the elevator, and I got my mask on, and one of those ugly cries where there's snot coming out of your nose, you know what I mean? And I leave there, and I call my sponsor, and I tell him what's going on. And I go to work the next day, and I'm driving back to Torrance Memorial, and I pull up in the parking lot, and everything in me tells me, Paul, don't go in there. Why do you want to go back in there? Why do you want to put yourself through this? So I park, and I call my sponsor, and I go, man, Troy, I don't want to go in there, man. And he's like, it ain't about you, bro. It's about you going in there and being a service. It's about you going there and showing your Nina how much you love her. And thank God I take direction, man. And I walked in there. And now I got my whole family in the waiting room, and they're letting 4 people in at a time to go see her. And my cousin Marla walks out, and she goes, Paul, go in there. And I walk in there, and as soon as I turn the corner, I look, and my Nina perks up and smiles at me. She goes, Hammer, you made it back. And my cousin Gina looked at me, she goes, Paul, she hasn't smiled all day. And I would have missed out on that, man. I would have missed out on that. And then I got to go in the waiting room, and I got to talk to my family, and my cousins would be like, Paul, how are you? And I go, forget about me. How are you? That's your mom. And I got to be a shoulder for them to cry on, and I got to sit there and let them tell me how they felt. And that's not the Paul they know. The Paul they know would have been in a hotel room with a needle in his arm, feeling sorry for himself because his Nina's dying, making it about me and not about them. And I remember the last day when I got there a little late, my whole family, they let the whole family in the room because they didn't think she was going to make it through the night. She was in a morphine-induced coma. And I walk in, and my whole family's waiting. And they're like, Paul, will you pray over our mom? We know you're in a spiritual program. You know what I mean? And I'm the felon, dope fiend, drug addict, you know, drug dealing family member. And they're asking me, they waited for me to pray over my Nina. And I got to do that. You know what I mean? These are the things we get to do. We get to show up for the people that love us. And it's crazy because that gift happened through pain, through loss, through sadness. But you know what? There was a peace that I can't even put in words. And that don't come from me. That comes from God, man. You know what I mean? And you know what's crazy is me and my son, about 8 months ago, we're eating. He lives down in Carlsbad. We're eating, me, him, and his girlfriend. My son's a grown man. He's 30 years old, you know. But we're eating. We're having a good time. You know, we're laughing. We're having a real good time. And my son looks up at me with tears in his eyes, and it kind of threw me off because we were having a good time. And I go, what's up, my boy? And he goes, I have my dad back. And I never knew I was a gift, man. I never knew I was a gift. So if I spend the rest of my life trying to repay Alcoholics Anonymous by paying it forward, I wouldn't even scratch the surface, man. You know, this program's giving me a new life because I didn't want my old life back, man. You know, this program got my son sober when I couldn't. He OD'd on fentanyl, and they brought him back, and I couldn't get him sober. He ran from me because he didn't want to hear it from his dad. But you guys got him sober. And I'm eternally grateful, man. I hope and pray for every single one of you guys that the love of your life is the love of your life. Thank you for letting me share.
Thanks, Paul. Let's give Paul another round of applause. Beautifully said. All right, Sean, you want to come on up and give us a treasurer report? I hope it's good because we're only, 2 meetings away from pizza? Okay, just a friendly reminder.
Hey, what's up, fam? My name is Sean. I'm an alcoholic and an addict. Pour cross will be up here. All right, you guys, we had an old balance of $67.08. Tonight we took in $34, which leaves us with a new balance of $101.08. Thank you for letting me be of service.
Awesome, almost there. Bring your pennies next week. Okay, and Glenn is going to do our chips tonight. Come on up, Glenn. Let's celebrate. Just in case. We don't know that.
Hey guys, I'm Glenn, addict. So here at Pedro Services, we celebrate Life of Sobriety Tournament. The most important person in the room, the newcomer. With anyone with 29 days of sobriety or less, like to come up and get a chip and a hug. Anyone? You got it. 29 days or less. Newcomer. Right here. Come on, little Harry. Get up. Little Harry. All right, what are you? All right, Harry. Tell them. All right, with anyone with 30 days? Anthony. Slow down, Glenn. Hey, my boy George.
Hold up, man.
George.
Felipe.
Gilbert. With anyone with 60 days? Anyone? Who are you? Danny. All right. Anyone with 90 days? Oh, we got a twofer. What's up? Jamal. Anyone with 6 months? 6 months? All right, with anyone with 9 months? Whole ass baby.
That's like
Right, 18 months? No? All right, well, we also do celebrate birthdays here, with those who at the end of the month. So, with anyone here with a year or more of sobriety, raise their hand. All right, just goes to show you that this program works. Thanks for letting me do service.
I don't have flower petals to send your way. All right. Before we open up the meeting to share, can we get a couple of volunteers to help do the garbage? Woo-hoo. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Okay. Let's open up the mic. Who's sharing tonight? 3 minutes. Give us 3. Come on.
Don't get up all at once, please. Come on, just hear your shirt tonight.
I'll be telling the story.
Thank you, Rudy.
Rudy Addict. Welcome to all the newcomers. My name's Rudy, and I don't know if you're a little bit like me or a little bit worse. I see a lot of new faces. I like this program. It's my first one. And you know, it's funny how this man Paul right here said that be of service, and I have a lot of new guys in 19th Street, and I always welcome them, you know. I felt that way too, and I wanted to leave, you know, so I see this program working on myself, and I'm learning slowly but surely, and I like this. So just give yourself that shot. You know, they say that little, don't leave before that miracle happens. I want to be that miracle, man. So just stay here, man. And that's all I have to say. God bless you guys.
Hi, my name is Randy, and I'm an addict. First, let me start off with I apologize for last week. I kind of forgot that I was on camera, and I said some things. Two, for all the newcomers, this program really works, man. If you don't believe it, take it from anybody that has a year or more, or take it from people that came back, so to speak. This program has done a lot of work to get to where it's at now. For myself, like Paul, I barely started thinking about my family. You know, I always thought like, oh, poor me, poor this, poor that, whatever. But I never thought about what did I put my mom through, what did I put my sisters through, what did I put my family through, what were their experiences with me being addict. Nonetheless, though, I just want to say thank you to a couple staff, not only Roxy and Liz, but also Joe, you know. Joe was there for me last week. I kind of went into a depressing state of mind, and he helped me, he pulled me aside and he had me read letters, you know, read letters and just get it off my mind and shred it up, which we still got to do. But nonetheless, man, this program has a lot of love for every individual in here, you know. I myself am working on not only learning how to communicate better and how to be a better person, not only towards my own self, but also towards everybody in the building. But I'm also learning off of my letters. I'm doing it right this time, even though I'm skimming off the top. But nonetheless, I just want to say thank you to really the staff, you know. You guys do a lot of good work. And Roxy, thank you for talking to me last week and allowing Joe to do what he's doing with me. Pause. It's just it's just really I appreciate it a lot, you know. Showing me the love, but also the support and the care and actual trusting me to just work through it instead of just using or being high in your own building or doing something stupid, and for allowing me to come back too, you know. I know I was a mess last time when I was first around here, but I'm trying to do this right, and I'm trying to just get better and be a better person, you know, just like Paul, my dad. But yeah, just thank you to Joe, Liz, you know, and Roxy for everything that you guys do, honestly, and Nancy. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Brandon. I'm a recovering alcoholic addict. Paul, is it? Paul? I want to thank you for your share. Very inspiring. It's very rare we get like good speakers, and yours just, I'm pretty sure reached us all. So, anyways, I just want to thank Alcoholics. Let me talk. Damn. Okay. I just want to thank Alcoholics Anonymous because on Mother's Day I got a good text from my mom. I got a text her like Happy Mother's Day, and it's very rare when I hear her say I'm proud of you, and I just want to thank this program because I finally got that message. Like, you know, it's the best gift that you could ever give me, knowing that you're doing good and knowing that you're succeeding at what you're doing right now. So I want to thank Alcoholics Anonymous, and it's helping, you know, having a sponsor, it helps a lot. You know, I call my sponsor every day. I follow his direction, even if I don't want to do it. I be a service, even if I don't want to do it. And trust me, there's times I don't want to do it. But I'm just taking good, orderly direction, you know, and taking it one day at a time. And I'm almost out of here too. And I got a couple more weeks, and it's just take it day by day. To the newcomer, take it day by day. Don't count the days, because the days are going to pass by regardless. But just take it day by day, because tomorrow's not promised, and today is a gift. So thank you. That's right.
I'm Lester. I'm an alcoholic. Lester. I recently graduated from Fred Brown. This place, they loved me so much that I had to love myself. I didn't do that before I came there. I loved everything else. I loved alcohol. I loved lean. I liked making music. I thought I was Future. But
Future rapper, right?
But God does this one thing where he'll put you where you need to be, not where you want to be. And you'll be there for so long that you'll realize it's exactly where you want to be now. And that's where I'm at. I got to thank everybody. I thank Liz for listening to me rant for therapy. Roxy for just being, you're just really, people need Fred Brown that don't even be addicts. I think they should give this to normal people too. Like, this is useful, you feel me? But I want to thank all of you guys too, because y'all taught me a lot of shit. Y'all taught me that I don't know shit, and that's something I'll never be able to take back. So, love y'all. Peace.
My name is Dalton. I'm an addict. Dalton. I'm just really grateful for this program. It's added years to my life. It's added years to my mom's life. She doesn't have to worry and stress anymore. I'm thankful to Roxy, everybody. I'm thankful to Abel, my house manager. He's a really good guy and he cares, so if you guys can just tell him I said that, that'd be great.
I'll text you later.
Hey, you got time for at least one more.
Tell him I said that too.
I know. I know teeth. My name's Alfie. I'm an alcoholic. I'm 58 years old. 58 years old. Been a lot of places. I look 30, but I'm not. Been a lot of places. Been a lot of situations. And I've never, ever in my life been to a place like this, man. Ever. And you know what, man? When you're looking around and you're bitching, and I do it too. All right, Nancy, there, me and. Well, you know, I'm surrounded by romper rooms, so you know. Anyway, it's one of the most badass programs I've ever been in my life. It is, and them letters are meant for you to dig. And I'm a 315-pound booger-eating biker, and I sit there and break down like a kid, crying, because you need to get that shit out of you. Excuse my language, but you need to. You know, don't sit there, don't be ashamed, man. You know, a couple of these cats have come in here and they don't want to write. You can't keep hiding from yourself. You can't keep stuffing that shit down deep inside you, man. It's going to kill you. It's almost killed me. And I finally think I got it all out this time. With the help of another brother in here that just graduated, that band right over there. And I mean, I wasn't even expecting it. You know what I mean? I sit when Lester was hugging and talking to his brother and mom, big old tear, and I'm going, what the fuck is wrong, you know? You know, but it makes you feel again, man. It makes you feel again. And it don't make you no less of a man, it makes you a man. It makes you a man, period. That you get to look at yourself and get all that shit out of you. You know, my kid, I wanted to run, but I didn't run this time. I stayed still. And Roxy, last time my grandmother, they left her to die, and I wanted to go to her funeral. And before I didn't know it, but Roxy didn't let me go. And I was mad. I was pissed off. You know what I mean? Yeah, who would think you are? But she actually saved my life. It saved my life. That woman knew. I didn't know. You know what I mean? If she would have let me go, it would have been bad. You know, because I told her about the situation. House full of dope fiends, took over the house, let my grandmother die. And I didn't realize it at the time. I sit out in that front yard and cried like a baby. You know what I mean? Because back then I was on parole. And she really saved my life there. Man, these people really give a damn, man. They do. You know, it ain't like in the Salvation Army is good and all these other programs. It ain't a beans and rice Jesus Christ program. It's a lot of love program. If you guys ever get to do Christmas here, do it. It's badass. My son got caught, and I bought me a ticket to the Philippines last night. I'm moving to the Philippines. No, I am. I bought a ticket. Yeah. I booked it early. I'm leaving on September 1st, and at 1 a.m. from LAX for a 15-hour flight to the Philippines. And I'll have right then a year and a month, because I'm coming up. I'm at 11 months. I'm going on 10 and a half, 11 months now.
When you coming back?
I'm not. I'm not. They have programs there. I mean, they got, yeah. But I don't plan to go get high. You know what I mean? See, there you go. Anyway, not lady boy. That's where your mind's at, young man. You need to I think you need to flip the script a little bit, bud. Anyway, yeah, but thank you, Roxy, for having me again. Thank you, Nancy, for putting up with my garbage. I argue with her every day. Even if it's not going, I'll pick at her till we do argue. And it's just very true. And it's one of the only few adult conversations I can have around there besides the other staff. I don't watch Romper Room or cartoons, so. Anyway, thank you guys again for having me. Thank you for putting up with my shit. And you new guys, man, dig in. And this place will turn you around. I left here last time and it kept 5 years clean. I did. I really did. Anyway, they're telling me time out, and thank you.
Jonte, I'm an addict. Yeah, I'm going to read a vision for you. Our book is meant to be suggestive only. We realize we know only a little. God will constantly disclose more to you and to us. Ask him in your morning meditation what you can do each day for the man who is still sick. The answers will come if your own house is in order. But obviously, you cannot transmit something you haven't got. See to it that your relationship with him is right, and great events will come to pass for you and countless others. This is the great fact for us. Abandon yourself to God as you understand God. Admit your faults to him and to your fellows. Clear away the wreckage of your past. Give freely of what you find and join us. We shall be with you in the fellowship of the Spirit, and you will surely meet some of us as you trudge the road of happy destiny. May God bless you and keep you until the end. Shalom.
And pray out. And don't forget your cards are to the front.
There we go. Look at, hey, right here, down. Take a snapshot.
All right, everyone linked up. After a moment of silence for the alcoholic and addict who's still suffering, will Paul please lead us out in the prayer of his choice?
Whose Father? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as I forgive those who trespass against me. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Somebody let their blue bottle.